What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs have an opportunity to bolster their running back room before the season begins. We'll talk about who that means right after this. Ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, I appreciate you all clicking on this video today. But before we get into the topic, I do want to kindly ask everyone to please hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and last but not least, subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this, and that helps me continue bringing Chiefs content to you all. But let's get into today's topic. So there was a report earlier this evening from NFL insider Jordan Schultz stating that the Commanders have been shopping running back Brian Robinson Jr. to teams around the NFL. The former third-round pick out of Alabama is entering the final year of his contract. And when I saw this report, I immediately thought this is the perfect type of player that the Kansas City Chiefs could add, out on the margins to improve their roster before the season begins. I've been pretty adamant throughout this offseason that I like what the Chiefs have done. I feel like there's not a lot of gaping holes on this roster, but there are a few places that, you could say, hey, they need an injection of talent here at this spot probably. And one of those spots is running back. While Isaiah Pacheco is still this team's number one running back, assuming he is healthy, behind him, it gets a little questionable. And even I think personally that Isaiah Pacheco is questionable as a running back one. And I don't know if he provides the explosiveness truly that the Chiefs need at the running back position at this point. And I know he's coming off injury, so we're all giving him a little bit of grace right now. And he has looked better in preseason, to his credit, than he did last year, trying to come back from that broken leg in order to help the Chiefs on their Super Bowl run. But behind him, you have Kareem Hunt, who's good, but definitely getting up there in age. I still think he has a role on this team, but definitely should not be a guy that's getting 20 carries a game at this point in his career. And then the Chiefs brought in Elijah Mitchell this offseason from the San Francisco 49ers. Carson Steele's still around, and then, of course, the draft pick, Rashard Smith. But none of these are guys that should stop you from adding a running back with juice to this room if you have the opportunity to do so. And Brian Robinson actually is the type of guy that I would like to see the Chiefs go after now that he's available. Now, this isn't someone that I think a lot of Chiefs fans would call a clear upgrade over what you have. And I think a lot of people would say they shouldn't be adding a running back unless it's a clear upgrade over what you have. And I totally understand that. And personally, I would love if the Chiefs, aimed higher than Brian Robinson Jr. But the guy has to be available, right? And we've seen now that Brian Robinson Jr. is available, former high-round pick for the Washington Commanders, and he's been extremely productive throughout his career so far. In 3 seasons with the Washington Commanders, Robinson has had just about 3,000 yards from scrimmage. That's a productive player. Now, the thing is, I was scrolling my timeline earlier, and I saw this tweet from Heath Cummings over at CBS Sports, and he says that he believes the Commanders have shopped Brian Robinson for a minute now, and he doesn't believe any team is willing to give anything of significance for him, which is also why I think this fits the bill perfectly for the Chiefs, because obviously the Chiefs aren't in a position cap-wise, and I also don't think they're willing to give up any high draft picks or future assets right now for a running back. But you're talking about a guy that won't require much to bring in, but could definitely add some insurance to your room, kind of raises the floor of the running back room quite a bit. Brian Robinson Jr., he fits that bill. And, I think a name that we've seen in reports recently is Josh Williams, the cornerback for the Chiefs. They might be shopping him. He may not even make the team, but if he's not going to make the team, you could definitely dangle him in front of the Commanders, who do actually need cornerback help, and say, hey, we'll trade you this young asset that's still in his rookie contract that, you'll have team control for this year. And, you're swapping him for Brian Robinson Jr., who is in a contract year, coming into a contract year as well. But at least they get something back. They match pretty closely salary-wise because Brian Robinson is also on his rookie contract. But I think this is the ideal addition that the Chiefs should make to their running back room. And again, we were talking a minute ago about how this may not be considered a clear upgrade over what you have. I mean, he's comparable, I think, to Isaiah Pacheco, but I think Brian Robinson is a different player than Isaiah Pacheco. Last year, he had right around 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. But here's the other thing. He had a long run of 40 yards last year, which would have been by far the longest run of any Chiefs running back last season. And when you look at this depth chart beyond Isaiah Pacheco, there's not a ton of explosiveness there. I mean, you could argue Elijah Mitchell when he's healthy. We rarely have seen him healthy, and I don't even know if he's going to make this team, not based off what I've seen. Brashard Smith is a rookie. We have high hopes for him, but again, he's a rookie. And I do think there is room for 4 running backs on this roster. And even though Brian Robinson Jr. may just be considered a guy, and I think he's like a middle of the pack type of running back, I think a middle of the pack type of running back would help the Chiefs immensely right now. Someone that, you know, has good size, breaks enough tackles, has enough speed. I mean, that describes Brian Robinson Jr. perfectly. Someone that if Isaiah Pacheco were to get hurt again, and Isaiah Pacheco has been hurt quite a bit over the previous couple of seasons, Brian Robinson Jr. can step in, start some games, and you're not panicking at the running back position. If Isaiah Pacheco gets hurt again this season, you know, again, Kareem Hunt is not someone you want taking 20 carries a game at this point in his career. You can split those up a little bit between Brian Robinson, maybe a little bit of Brashard Smith rookie action in there, definitely when you're trying to throw the ball, because we've seen what he can do already throughout training camp as a receiver out of the backfield. But I just look at this. I saw this news earlier, and I say the Chiefs should definitely be on the phone trying to get Brian Robinson Jr. from the Commanders, especially if he's not going to cost very much. I mean, why not? I mean, what's it going to hurt to bring in a guy like this who can at worst be your number 2 running back to an Isaiah Pacheco, who we have questions about his health and how he's going to look, again, still coming off that broken leg from last season. And Isaiah Pacheco, he's really struggled from an efficiency standpoint over the last season or so. And Brian Robinson Jr., look, he averaged 4.3 yards per carry last season, has consistently run the ball at a 4 yards per carry clip. He's an efficient runner. Again, you know, he's not the best running back in the league by any means. Again, he's a middle of the pack guy, but I think he definitely helps and raises the floor of your running back room. And I just think, what does it hurt to bring in a guy like this? I mean, yes, the Chiefs are pretty much set at most of the positions on their roster, but running back is one of those few positions they have that it would not hurt to add an injection of talent. I think that's one of those positions you can look at and say, yeah, I mean, they could use an injection of talent here still, someone younger. And that's also Brian Robinson. He's a younger player. He's still got a lot of tread on the tires. And I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles earlier today traded for wide receiver John Mechie from the Houston Texans. And those are the kind of moves I constantly see Howie Roseman making over there for the Philadelphia Eagles. I know a lot of people are probably going to roll their eyes when I say that, but I mean, the Eagles, you know, they're set at wide receiver, but they saw an opportunity to add talent on the margins of the roster and say, hey, you know, we're just going to stack talent here. This is a young player still with a lot of potential that maybe isn't quite cracking it over there in Houston. We're going to bring him over here, so see what he's got, you know, give him that change of scenery. And at worst, if, you know, AJ Brown or Devontae Smith aren't quite healthy, you can throw this guy out there and you're not panicking at wide receiver. The Eagles are stacking talent on the margins. I think the Chiefs should do the same. When you're trying to go for a Super Bowl, you need to add depth like this. And Brian Robinson Jr. would be great depth in the running back room for Kansas City. And if he's not going to require much to get, I say go and get him. But those are my thoughts on Brian Robinson Jr. Reportedly being available for trade. I want to hear from you guys, though, down in the comments below. Do you think the Chiefs should target Brian Robinson Jr.? Do you think this is a player worth bringing in? Or do you think the Chiefs are fine at running back? Definitely let me know down below when you hear from y'all. But with all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure to check out my work on showmefootball.com. And then last but not least, follow me on Twitter at ShowMeFB. That's all I got for you guys in this one. I'll see you all in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs.